Welcome everyone to the Artiziri podcast by Sastanaqqam. Firstly, we thank ByBit for the collaboration, and we welcome Khawla, Abou, Saleh. Thank you for coming.
Thank you so much for having me.
Khadija is my co-host.
Hi Anis, hi Khawla, welcome. And hi to our audience. Stick around because we're going to have a great time together.
Yes, it's been 2 hours and a half that we've been we've been doing the setup for the mics. That's why she's hating me now. She wants to go.
No.
She's like, no, I'm in a hurry. I need to go now.
No, you need to mention that I actually helped. No?
Of course, yes.
Yeah, I did do some of the setups. No?
She did everything. Do you like it like this?
Yeah.
She did everything.
We got a time to talk a lot and get along together.
Yeah. We don't have to ask the question. Thank you for watching the podcast because we did everything. We asked.
They didn't see it, yes.
Khawla, we are going to ask you some questions that will get you to prison. Yeah?
Are you sure?
You still have the time to say no and go home.
No, khalas, I'm all in.
What does the police say when they arrest you? Everything you can say or you're gonna say can and will be used against you. So, first question. Can you tell us when did you feel that you were an artist?
Yeah, so this is the best question. Because usually, when someone asks you about you to talk about your background, you actually don't know where to start. So I've been painting since I was a little girl. You can say that even I believed, I have a belief when I was a little girl that school was all about teaching art. But it wasn't. Anyways, so I had this interest, and then I grown up to become an artist, but I didn't end up going to fine art school, so I studied archaeology, but I kept my passion, and maybe because I went to archaeology and it has an artistic background, studying the history of art, but for me, I had a reaction. I was so scared that I might forget about my talent and lose track of time and getting caught up in something completely different. So as a reaction to this fear, I was working more, painting more, drawing, and doing more courses. So I even learned graphic design, and I also did murals. I painted on walls. I did character design. I was so in it that because I was so attached to it, I didn't want to lose it because I didn't study it. So you can consider that I am a self-taught artist. So I did have a year at the Fine Arts Academy back in my home country, but it was not official. I wasn't an official student, but I was working along with students, and I was painting and learning from the fine arts professors that were at the school back then. Afterwards, I got more into the field, and I started as a designer, and I went for a short trip to Beirut to work there.
Would love to go there one day.
Yeah, it's an amazing city. Then I worked as a craft artist. I did some decoration pieces and all by handmade. It was really nice experience for me. Afterwards, I moved.
Do you have an anecdote about Beirut?
A what?
An anecdote, like some story, short story to tell.
Yeah, oh my God. I had my worst and my best day at the same day in Beirut. It was quite an experience for me living there because it was the first time I travel away from home, and I tried to find myself and prove myself because I was so attached to the idea of leaving Syria, because for me the war and everything that was happening back then, I felt like if I stay, I might not be able to have the future that I always imagined having or working towards. So leaving Syria was a very important step for me, so I can do stuff which I realize it's not about the place you are later on in life, but you have to go through that experience to learn more about yourself and about your dreams and about your character, that it doesn't matter exactly where you are, it's all in the mind. So leaving Syria to work a little bit in Beirut and then going back to Syria and coming to the Dubai, you can say I learned a lot about me
And was it hard as a self-taught artist to like start in the business?
Exactly. It was. It is still hard, actually, and very challenging to be in a artistic career path because
Serious industry.
you have to put a lot of time and effort before it actually starts to pay off. So even with that, you have to have sustainable lifestyle along with that. So you have a lot of responsibility, especially as a expat. Like you come to a different country, so you need to work, you need to make money. So you need to compromise. Like sometimes you feel if you're following your passion, it's like unrealistic because you need to be making money. Like you need to abandon your dreams.
Yeah, you need
because
to
you
have
need
a
to be
side job.
realistic.
It's not sufficient to have only to
Exactly. You need to stable yourself to be able to do the art. And it was a challenging for me because the first 4 years, I came here in 2019 and I started painting Zayed Vision, the first painting of mine. It took 2 years, but it wasn't consistent because I was a freelancer and I was doing other stuff. So I wasn't able.
More time than it should.
Exactly. Yeah. And I was like ups and downs because it's a new country, it's a new experience. It's very personally challenging for me because it's a lot of change and I'm not sure about what I want anymore because there's a lot of...
And especially what you're saying, especially in Dubai, because when you change from, let's say, Syria and you go to England, there is mainly one dominant culture. If you go to England, you learn about kings and queens, and there's one thing, you learn about it, then you can get along with the locals and everything. But here, everyone's here.
Exactly.
Like if you're here, you need to get along with Colombians, with Spanish, with French.
Yeah. You feel like you're lost in a big city.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
exactly.
You have that feeling a lot here.
Because it's very mixed, so everybody come here to prove themselves, to...
The feeling of belonging is very human, so everyone tries to fit in to to get along with people and to just be part of this community.
Exactly. Like they're open to making new friendships, they're open to create new opportunities, they're very flexible because they're all here for the same reason. So it's very that kind of it's very welcoming. Like this is one of the main things that this country is good for.
Great. Okay, so we're gonna dive into your art and your career as an artist.
Sure.
So when we look to your work, we especially at the beginning, we noticed that you've been exclusively focusing on charcoal, soft pastels, and pencil. So why that, and why specifically portraiture?
So it's a good question. So for me, portraits are really important because this is what I first started painting: eyes, faces, expressions. So being having the background education in the visual art, you need to start with drawing from observation, like drawing from still life, drawing objects, drawing even from pictures. And I was very interested and obsessed about the idea of perfectionism and doing the perfect portrait with something similar to a camera capture. So it's a skill that you feel along the way when you're an artist. It's a skill that you must have, and then after mastering the skill, then you can continue on to different stuff, to work on other materials, to experiment and to use art to express and talk about your emotions, state of mind, ideas, or whatever.
Is this related to your other work, which is visual and media?
Yeah, I mean the charcoals and soft pastel work.
And the fact that you want to just reproduce a picture.
It started like that, but then it changed. Still, the human figurative subject is always tempting for me. Like I always want to do figurative realism and to do portraiture.
It's
and
more personal. So.
Yeah, I love this subject to always be in my paintings, but it changed not to just drawing from observation and drawing something that is already there. It turned into an idea, a concept that you can create from zero, from scratch. It can be your own ideology about something, or it can be anything. So my first painting concept that I did was Bacchus. It was my first self-portrait, and the idea is to replicate or to do like repaint a subject, a painting, which is a very famous painting for Michelangelo Caravaggio. I chose this Bacchus, one of his paintings, and then I reproduced this painting in my own way, in my own composition and my own subject. And it was a really interesting experience for me, because later on, like it unlocked this obsession, which is classical art, and then I started doing most of my paintings in the same style.
Okay. Sometimes with artists, when you said that you love to portray humans, I was talking to an artist, I forgot her name, in the last event in Tashkil. No, not in Tashkil. What was the gallery name?
Yeah, FN Design.
FN Design. Yeah, I was talking with some artists there, and she exclusively paints animals. Yeah, and when I asked her the same question that she asked you, why do you do only humans? And she was like, I'm an introvert. I don't like the human connection that much, so I hate drawing humans. So she finds refuge in drawing animals. You see that humans are very different.
It shows the personality of the artist, and its preference. It can like draw the art can tell you a lot about the artist too, because it's his way to express him. It's a part of himself.
Yeah, it shows the complexity of the human mind. We go to the next question. What's your process for doing things? Because I saw one picture of on Instagram with the Sheikh Zaid or Al Maktoum. I don't know. It's Zaid. Ben Rashid Maktoum.
It's the second, yes.
It's the second
painting.
So you posted not the whole process, but like how you did it. So like at first you sketch it, then you do the calculations, and I saw it. I didn't understand it, so I'm asking you. Yeah, walk us through your process.
Yeah, so it starts with the idea. Like I want to imagine the whole thing before I start. It's easier for me to be convinced with my painting, whatever I want to draw. So usually I start with a lot of sketches to imagine the composition, the figure, and the anatomy of the subject. And then I do like with this painting exactly, because Zayed Vision, I didn't have my iPad back then, so I always sketch on my iPad, and I collect references, lighting, and then when I see, like, I finalize the whole painting on my, like, as a digital painting, and then I start. But before that, I used to do the whole process with mainly sketching and doing some oil paint sketching also, not only by pencil. So your tools always advance. Like now I have a different process. I come up with a concept with a lighting and then a composition. I do finalize some stuff, and then I feed it to AI, and then I generate some main ideas of the composition that I want. And then I try multiple styles, which is the ones, like sometimes I even give AI my own style, so I can create something similar with the same lighting. So your tools always evolve as you go through. And I always go for the things that saves more time, because the process behind, especially paintings like the ones I do, because I always figure out the composition and everything before I start. So usually this takes a lot of time for me. With the new tools, I'm saving more time before I start.
It's interesting because you're the first artist that says that you're using AI.
Now, yeah, but you haven't seen my paintings that is done by AI. I'm still working on them.
Not done by AI, but you use AI to help you.
Yeah,
right?
It is, because imagine AI is now in everything, and humans are famous for their tools. If you have a powerful tool, then you will create very powerful objects, especially if you're an artist. Like now anybody can use AI to create art, but imagine if you're an artist using AI. So you can be like, you know, because you already have the imagination, you know exactly what you want to do and what you want to create. So it gives you fast concepts, inspiration. You will be like
don't get me wrong, I'm with you on this point, but there is a philosophical debate that can be made here.
I know what you're talking about. Because if you're copying exactly from AI, then you're not creating. But if you're
The
using it,
intuitive, the human side.
Exactly.
But she uses it as a tool. I got you.
I use it as a the process, the background process of like the sketch, and the what do you call it, the draft. It's the draft of the idea about, because whatever you create with AI, it's not going to be exactly like you want. It is very close, but it's not exactly what you want. And every time I even change colors, I change composition.
You'll be the one who's
You,
drawing.
you're controlling exactly the results.
It's exactly the same in copywriting. Like I do a lot of copywriting because I create content on the internet. A lot of the time I use ChatGPT, but at the end I find myself using it for 10% of the work. Then for the rephrase, for the way I talk, for everything, I do it myself. So, but now not everyone admits using it, especially in the art field. For copywriting and emails and everything, yeah, everyone's okay with it. But for the art, I know a lot of artists are using it, but they're not ready to admit it.
I love your honesty, honestly.
Yeah.
So the plan is actually to share the process. Like now, the concept that I'm developing, I'm gonna share the full process, and I'm filming it like through like how it started, what is my inspiration, how I combine things and the idea, and afterwards I'm gonna share exactly how I used AI in this. So it will be for the people to judge.
Yeah.
And I'm
other artists.
And exactly, and I've been creating art like since before. So you're not gonna have self-doubt, because you know that you can create, you can do stuff. But with this tool, maybe I can do even more and more.
Do you have a particular routine or environment that helps you get into the creative zone?
Yeah.
Into the, like, imagine it, there are two Khawlas. One Khawla is very creative. How do you activate that mode?
That takes a lot of effort. Usually, because you get sometimes you come back from work like really tired, and the creativity is a vibe, it's a mood. So you need to set up the mood. So that's how I do it. It's like I'm trying to lure the creative Khawla to start working on something.
So how you do
So
it usually?
I start by cleaning and rearranging the place that I work and paint in. And before I start that, because even that's an annoying process, I put like some music. I have a playlist. Every time I change it, the music always gets me in the mood. Like I'm very calm. I'm mentally calm. I don't have any, exactly, not distracted. And music helps me to be in that mood. And then I start cleaning and I organize, and I start with my palette, and I like take my time. I do a cup of coffee, and then I start.
I'm gonna lose, like, I'm gonna forget myself. I already got into it. I'm trying to imagine what you're saying. It looks very soothing, very calming.
Yeah. And sometimes it gives me a lot of nostalgic feeling, because doing that every time before you start, it reminds you of many times you did that before and you were working on something before. So it gives you really good energy.
Yeah, like.
To be honest, this is like the fancy way to enter the creative Khawla. For me, like, I get creative when I'm about to sleep.
It happens to me,
Yeah.
No, I'm in my bed. I'm always like thinking I should do this. I should write this, and at the same time, I don't want to get up and like do it or note it. And the day before,
Yeah.
the day after, sorry, I forget.
Yeah, and second most creative place, shower.
Exactly.
Every time I take a shower, I'm the most creative man on earth.
Maybe you should take notes with you.
Yeah, I should be doing what you're saying. Like put a fancy mood, songs and everything. I'll try it.
Even for work, it works. Like if you set up the mood for working, maybe you will be more productive.
How would you describe your current artistic style?
I would describe it, currently, it's still in the classic. But soon enough, it's going to be a mix between futuristic and classic.
Oh, so
Yeah.
you're shifting.
Yeah, I'm shifting.
Why is that?
Okay, this shift happened because I grown to love new style completely, so which is something rare, because for a long time I've been in love with classical, and I thought I was so attached to it, and I wanted to keep working on classical paintings. But for the last year and a half, I started to be more involved in the art scene, and I started to explore more art exhibitions and to see other people's work and to see their process. So because of that, I grown to love futuristic and modern. It's even inspired by digital art, not only the art exhibition and actual paintings.
That's what I noticed with you, because I've been around artists for this past 6 months, and I've seen that you're all over the place. You have a gallery here, present here, you have a meeting with artists and everything. And I think it's what inspires you, all of these changes, which leads us to the next question. Do you think you have found your own unique voice in your art? Because if you're all over the place, somewhere you're getting inspiration from all of them.
I think I'm on it. Like I did. I'm not sure. I cannot like say for exact that I found it, but I am developing it, and I think it's going somewhere. So I got really inspired by everything that is happening, like the art scene in Dubai. But the main inspiration was people connection. Not just the art, like connecting with people in the art scene. Like you learn a lot from observing and from exploring. So, and not only about the people, you learn more about you, about yourself. So I got more comfortable with everything that I'm doing, and you get motivated because you see people doing the thing that they love and they're succeeding at it, and then like you see it's inspiring, and this happiness, this feeling of watching someone doing the thing they love and doing because this is what I want to do for me, you know, this is exactly what I want to be, this is exactly what I want to be doing. So
yeah, it's a feeling.
So it's contagious.
I have the same feeling. The first thing you have in your mind, why him, not me?
It's a way not to be very intimidated by because when you're in the process and you're like in there, you will see it's not very intimidating when you see people growing and succeeding step by step, because if you're observing from a far distance, you will see success more intimidating, and because you're not familiar. How did they get there? How did they work on themselves? How did they be very consistent? And so when you actually there and you're along the way, you will be more.
When you see people growing, like people getting milestone by milestone,
and you're close
to them.
Yeah, you will, because if you're watching from afar, like far distant, you will be
and this is not
intimidated.
Only,
you will feel, I will never be like this.
Yes.
I can never succeed at this.
This is not only in the artistic art, even
in every field.
In every field, like when I talk, I don't know, basketball. If you see someone succeeding, like a popular star, anything, for you, it's just there.
Yeah, for us, we're humans. Like we always do that. You see someone doing something really good, you will assume that it was that easy.
You see only the final results.
Yes.
So you don't look to what
exactly.
all the time and effort.
All the work behind stage.
So you feel you need to explore. You need to try so many things before you find your own.
Exactly, but
defines you.
Exactly. Now I feel like I am exploring, but I don't need to do that much because I already I'm experienced with classic and with the style that I'm already working on. So I think it's time to be more brave, and go for it, and to start believing more in the tiny stuff that you're good at. Because sometimes the problem is that you're good at doing few stuff, but you don't believe that this is good enough. So I think I'm working on a cute style, and I'm gonna stick to it for maybe 2 or 3 years, and the journey of learning will never stop. So
exactly, yes.
What's the main message you aim to convey through your art?
I want to reach to the level where if you see a painting, it can relate to you as a human. Or if I create something, because I'm also planning not to only create paintings, maybe at some point do installations. I'm very inspired with artworks that you can interact with. So for me, I'm hoping to find a way to do that, to make people to feel more relatable to my artworks, more connected. So it's a process. You can say the main message is to connect
So do you have any like favorite piece, and what's the story behind it?
In my artworks?
Yes.
Yeah, I do have. Bachos.
Wow.
It was the first painting. I paused a lot while painting it. And I started painting it when I was in Syria. And then I moved it with me. And I removed the frame and I rolled it and I packed it in my bag. And then here, after like 6 months, I unrolled it and I stretched it on a canvas and I started painting on it. And the moment, because through this, a lot of things happened to me. On a personal level, and a big change happened to me. So the first time I got back to this painting and I started working on it, I started crying. Not because it's like a flash of memory of everything happened since the last time I painted. It was like a living memory. So this painting, because I know how I used to think when I was painting it, it was a reason for a lot of dreams, if you can say, and after that a lot of broken dreams, and then you going back to it and you experience a different change and you find yourself on a different path, but this is still there. So I don't want to cry anymore again. But when I started painting Bachos again, I felt happy and I felt a lot of different stuff, and I was so happy because I'm back to paint, because I stopped for a while. So it was this piece is very special to me, and I don't think I'm gonna sell it ever.
It's your first one.
Yeah, it was the first one.
Besides this one, because the feeling I got from this one, it's like your mother.
First baby, yes.
It's the first baby. Every artist has a special connection with the first art. But beside this one, what's your favorite?
Besides this one, second favorite.
Second baby. What's your second baby? Second favorite. I mean, the middle child is always the hated one. So you're third one.
No, actually.
You're the middle child. Ah, okay. Give her a hug.
Remote.
So when you live with something for a long time, it grows to you. You would love it more. The second favorite and the third favorite is Zayed Vision and the Achievement painting. So these two paintings, because I spent a lot of time analyzing and sketching and planning.
They are beautiful. So since you mentioned those two pictures, I think one of them, I mean, we were at the exhibition art and we saw them, and you advised us to look at it from a specific angle. Is this what you meant by when you talked about how people want to interact with your paintings and have like a specific style?
Yeah, it was about the lighting, of course, because the techniques that I used, because it's classic, I used a lot of oil layers. So the way lights can reflect and view the painting, it has to be in a specific way, because when I was working on the paintings, I have a certain specific place for the lighting. And I was creating my whole painting based on that. Yeah, so when you set up the right lighting for the paintings, it will be a more rich experience. If you're viewing this painting, you will be able to see all the details that I have worked on. Yeah.
And something you would like to work on and explore?
Of course, it's actually a technique. It's if you master this technique, you can apply it to any of your work. It's something related to the chemistry of colors.
Okay, yeah, interesting.
What is the biggest problem or biggest difficulty you faced over your career?
Me?
Artist's answer.
Yeah, I was my biggest difficulties, if you can say, because you need to understand a few stuff about yourself to be able to create more and to be able to move through challenges, because sometimes you are your biggest challenge.
You are your biggest enemy.
Exactly. So you can, if you realize stuff earlier, you can save a lot of time. If you sometimes even confess about doing something wrong, being able to develop yourself.
It's in a lot of religions, the fact, this thing, that we are our own enemy.
Yeah.
Yeah, for a fact, I know that it's in the Bible, in Buddhism, and in Islam.
Yeah.
I know that, in fact, for a fact that this is present in them. Like we are our worst enemies.
It is, and it's very powerful. And when you discover that you can, like, for me, I changed a lot of stuff. But if you're very strict and you want to do things exactly your own way and you're not accepting any other way, you will go nowhere. And a lot of things will be hit you, and it will hit hard because you're not willing to be flexible, more resilient, more open to different approaches. So
You limit yourself.
exactly. And you will be like trapped in your own, a prison of your own creation. Exactly.
Philosophical Khawla activated.
Okay, I have a very simple question, but at the same time very complex. What is art to you? I mean, do you think it's a form of expression, self-expression, or like do you think it's a tool we can use to influence and reflect social and cultural issues, for example? What is it exactly for you?
It can be all of that, but I want my answer to be personal. So it's going to be a little bit selfish answer. So art for me is my own world, my own universe. It's a place where I can be separated, disconnected. It's a very enriching experience. It makes you reconnect with yourself and away from all the problems. It's like when I start painting, when you start to think about like your problems, or I had this problem, let's say in my day, when I'm painting, I started, what was that about? Why was I bothered? I have this feeling, I cannot remember why it was so upsetting, because now I'm in a complete different universe. And that's the, people...
It's an inner self trip?
Exactly.
Kind of?
It's a place where you can find peace and calm mind. Yes.
Besides art, let's roll out of art.
Okay.
Besides creativity and drawings and paintings, what do you do?
So
What do you like doing?
for an art, I like doing a lot of stuff.
Drinking coffee, as of what I know.
When you're in the art field, that makes you a person who's interested in so many other stuff than art.
Yeah.
And you can easily distract yourself. Like I had a lot of interest growing up, and for me to be focused only on painting was a difficult job, because I wanted to be this and that.
It's hard to choose.
Yeah, and it was so diverse and has nothing to do with each other, these stuff. So for me, I do like the things I do other than I cannot say that I'm very interested in fitness. I am somehow, but I try to do my best in the busiest schedule ever.
As you see, I'm not into fitness that much.
No, I try my best. I'm not a very fit person, but I try my best to be healthy and in my best state to create and to have the energy to do more. What else? I'm interested in, of course, music.
What do you listen to?
I used to play guitar. I used to learn. Yeah, I learned.
Do we have a guitar here?
No,
Do we have a guitar here? I want to listen to some music.
No.
I advise not to, because I forgot some of my skills. It takes practice, but I wanted to be focused more on painting, because if you can't control it, you will get lost. I also love creating stories. I create a lot of stories, also in my bedtime, and also it will be for.
Have you considered like doing illustrated stories?
Yeah, actually, it was one of the ideas to do, because I create a lot of stories. Sometimes I think maybe I can do a series of paintings on them.
So back to what you were saying, do you think a person should focus on one thing, or do you feel like we can do a lot of stuff at the same time? Have a lot of hobbies. Maybe you get seriously into music, into arts, into painting, into so many stuff. Or you think if you want to succeed, you should focus only on one thing?
It depends on where are you, like in your life. I prefer, like, when you experiment with a lot of stuff, it gives you more information about you. Sometimes it gives sometimes you discover things that you want to do now for the rest of your life that you hadn't had any idea about before. So exactly, experiment is good. Having a lot of interest is good if it's under control. Because if you don't have it controlled, you will end up with nothing sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it can be very frustrating because you have so many interests that you cannot be consistent to one of them.
Yeah, you can be good with many things or perfect at one thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Another question, who are your favorite artists or influences and why?
A lot. Okay, you want to start with the classic? Okay, Michelangelo, Caravaggio, and Da Vinci, of course. What else? And the new ones, there is a really inspiring artist. He's an American. His name is Casey. وبالفنانين المعاصر نحكي عربي.
لا احكي عربي.
We'll do the subtitles.
The bilingual podcast. English and Arabic. Yeah, let's go.
I'm not sure about his last name, but he's an amazing American artist. The list will go on. There's a lot of artists that their work is really inspiring.
You're interested in blockchain technology in general. How did this interest come about?
Yeah, so I learned from one of my friends about NFT when they first started. And I was very interested because I didn't understand. Like every time somebody tried to explain what is NFT, I couldn't understand a token, whatever. So I started to research about it more. And learning about NFTs make me discover the whole other thing, which is cryptocurrency, which I did hear the term, this very famous term, Bitcoins, but I never understood what is it about exactly. But then when I started to have more digging, I learned about cryptocurrencies and I learned about trading, and I actually started to do some of these stuff.
That's interesting because people usually start to know about cryptocurrency and then maybe with NFT, but it was for you, it was the other way.
Exactly.
So, because you are in the art domain, yes.
So you do trading?
I did for a little while and I lost a lot of money. But I learned. I learned not to do it again.
Oh, really?
No, I'm just kidding. But trading is you need to be very devoted. You need to give it all your time. For me, it's going to be like a long-term hold. It's better. If I want to invest in crypto, it's going to be like for a long term. And I want to learn more about NFTs because I did start a collection to do it. Like when I started digital art, it seemed like a really good idea to have a collection of artworks based on my paintings. To do like a collection of NFTs, and I did manage to sell one.
Oh.
Yeah, but it was a start. It was not a bad experience.
Okay, so what do you think about this whole digital art and its impact on the traditional arts?
Oh, it's a new way, of course, of exploring things because I think one of the main, there's a famous artist called People or something. Yeah, he's very famous in digital art and he creates 3D scenes where he introduced a new type of style, and afterwards a lot of digital and 3D art started to happen. It is different, definitely, and it's very powerful, especially in this time.
Do you feel exploring this more in the future?
I already do a lot of digital artworks, and it's my artwork basically now. It's a mix of all of these stuff. It's a mix of classic sketch, like the old traditional ways. It's a mix of digital. It's a mix of AI. It has all this combination of ways, and it makes sense now because everybody is using these tools, and me as an art director, I use it like every time in my work, in my job.
And do you notice a difference? And do you feel like it's more helping, more enriching?
Exactly. At first, it will be very challenging because you're learning new way of doing things, and it's a very different. Digital art is way different than classic. So sometimes I find myself doing, like if I'm doing a sketch by hand, sometimes I feel I do this gesture when you want to undo a step on the actual paper, so your mind gets into the.
Okay, that's nice.
Yeah.
Get confused. Okay.
You said that you did an NFT before, right?
Yes.
Do you see yourself exploring this in the future?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. I think NFTs is here to stay, so we have to keep an open eye for everything, especially in the art, because you don't want to be behind people. You want to be always on, like, keeping track of things and being always advanced in your work.
You need to be adapting.
Exactly.
As you know, the word NFT, for the normal people, for the people that aren't in the field, they have a really bad vision. For them, NFT is just like monkeys or like an image that you can download. And what do you want to say to them?
I think it's because of how it started. When something gets popular very fast and then goes to a dip, like goes down very fast, and it doesn't, especially people that went into NFTs, not necessarily art collectors, some of them are, but not necessarily all of them, because the people who trade and do the cryptocurrency trading and stuff, they are the first ones to jump into NFTs. And I think maybe because of that, they gave it the hype. But that's why it went up and down. But for us, we're living in a very digital world right now. We're advancing in our technologies. So the concept of NFTs, it's going to be there. I know it's not going to be subtle at first, but it's going definitely to develop more.
Okay. Do you think blockchain technology could help protect artists' rights and intellectual property, with the smart contract, etc.? How do you feel about that?
I'm not very sure. I'm not well educated on the matter, but I think it is part of the whole thing. And with time, we will grow to trust these, because you're going to be learning on it. So you're going to be learning about it more, and you will feel more safe with your steps. So part of these details needs more education, and I think maybe artists need to be introduced more to these type of stuff, to understand it more, to know exactly how they can to know more about their rights. How can they protect their artworks?
What do you think things that should be done to maybe help artists to get into this?
It always starts with the community. Like if you have the community support, a lot of workshops, a lot of events, a lot of talks, that will educate people more on these matters.
And spaces and podcasts like...
exactly, just like this place.
What does make art art? I saw the banana art, like you put a banana on the wall, and then it goes up. It's $1 million. I don't know, 200,000 worth. What makes this? Because if I did put a banana on the wall, it wouldn't be worth that.
Okay.
Why?
I'll tell you something. Let's first separate the whole trend of the banana on the wall from the question. Yeah. Because the question, I have a different answer. What makes art is actually the viewer. You can go into an art gallery and you can see like a lot of paintings. One of these people in this event would relate to a painting that other person wouldn't, because it's like a need. If you experience, as a human being, if you experience some sort of emotion or some sort of whatever emotional experience, could be loss, could be love, could be whatever. An artist express their feelings in their artworks, and they express their experiences. So some people would relate to this moment more than others because they experienced it. That's why
the same state of mind.
Exactly. So for you, if you go, like for example, I was in an art gallery 2 days ago, and this is the first time I see this artist's work. He had this painting that has a very intense colors, and the figures were women that very supportive of each other. So for some reason I related to this painting because it has similar meaning, like in my life experience. And when you see the feeling that their body parts are extended and huge, and their heads are unbalanced, and it gives you a feeling, because sometimes if you're like down or you're feeling some sort of bad energy or something, you would feel like some part of your, like it's far away from your head, far away from your senses. For it described a feeling that only someone who had a previous experience of that would know.
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, it is the viewer who can feel that this art is art. And for the banana on the wall, that's the art market. Art market can make something very interesting. It's marketing basically.
Yeah.
It's not supposed to be. It's not supposed to be very related to art. It's about the hype. It's about the trend, because people are getting more experience about how to make something very trendy and something very, will get the attention and will spread.
So you feel it's not enough to just make art or good art. You need to know how to sell it, how to market for it. It's very important.
If you want to make art as a career and you want to make money out of it, yeah, it is an important part to know, because for us artists, we do not have this two characters. We're very focused on our creative process. You don't care about technicals, about how to promote your work. You're very focused on your work. It's the work itself. So that's why most of artists doesn't make fortune out of their work unless they're very lucky to find someone that would do that job for them. They're very good at, because making art is a talent and making money is a talent.
A whole other skill.
It is, it's a different skill.
I love this analogy.
So for if you find an artist who can create at the same time is very smart of promoting their work and very successful, and they made a fortune out of their work, like a very well-known artist, Picasso. He did that. He was able to do that. It's a hard balance. Not all artists can do both. Yeah. And some artists are lucky to find like a kind of partnership or whatever.
Good people to back them up.
Exactly, to support their life work, yes.
So back to the NFTs and blockchain, how do you think the art community in the Middle Eastern region is adapting to the digital arts and NFT trend?
I think in the area and the Gulf countries is getting really great support and great passion. Like a lot of people are already creating digital art, and they're very fixative on this line of work. So I think it's doing great in the region, in the Arabian countries, especially Gulf countries. Yeah.
Do you think that blockchain and NFTs give a new space for artists that don't have that talent of making money to make it?
Yeah, I believe so, because nowadays it's not an excuse if you're an artist and you're not making money, because there is a lot of platforms and there's a lot of ways to be able to do that. One of them is NFTs and creating digital work. So I think it's very possible, and you can easily. We're living in a world where everything is exposed. You can post anything about your daily life. You can make more people know about you and your work. So I think we're on the time where everything is more easy for an artist to be well known for their art. You just have to put a little bit of consistency and effort, and you can be very known from your own house, and you can start selling, and you can do a lot of stuff. So yeah.
Okay, let's take a moment of reflection. So looking back at your journey so far, what are you most proud of?
I think
doing this podcast.
No, that's one of the things. Okay, when you unlock like a part of you,
your potential, your real potential.
Exactly, or a way of thinking. Sometimes not even actual achievements. You can unlock a way of thinking. So
I love this. I love this. Yes, unlocking something in yourself, within yourself. Yeah, I love this.
No, not necessarily people can see an actual thing. It can be something you're the only one who would experience.
Yeah, you're just experiencing it. Yeah, with yourself. Can you share a piece of advice or a life lesson that has been significant for you?
Yeah. Never give up. Keep trying. Keep doing what you want, and the answers will come. I know you. All of us get confused. You feel lost. You feel uncertain, and you want to drop it, like whatever thing you're pursuing.
Even if it sounds cheesy, it's not. No, because every artist or everyone that's successful, when we ask this question,
hard work always.
They always answer hard work and don't give up. But it is the only answer to that. Yeah, it's not cheesy or repetitive or anything. It is the only answer to that.
Yeah.
Okay, so what are your future goals and aspirations as an artist?
For me,
make money. We'll get back to the money question. You want to get away like this.
If you focus on what you actually want to do, money is just going to happen. it's a side thing. It's something, if you're focused on what you should be focusing on, all the other stuff will happen to you. So for me, my future aspiration is to keep doing what I'm doing now. It's just like
To be able to do it.
day by day, to be focused and to have a clear mind and pure energy.
Yes, before we get into the last question, we'll get back to money. Are you sustainable right now? Can you live with your art?
Lay on just your art.
No, not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Do you think this is an issue with everyone?
It's always it's always an issue, and if you give it too much focus, it will like wear you down, you know? Sometimes it will stop you because you feel this is not working, I should be finding something else. So yeah, it's
What do you think we lack of to just make artists live so that artists can be able to rely on their artwork and make a living out of it?
The artists usually don't know how to manage the business side of things, the promoting side of things. So I think every artist needs a help in that specifically. So
you think it's mainly the artist's fault, or the industry, or the?
It's not anybody's fault. It's just normal, I guess. It's normal because they are good in doing one thing. So I believe in partnerships. Like most successful companies started by a partnership, because not everybody, you cannot have it all. You cannot be doing this and that and be perfect at everything. You need support. You need someone with another expertise. So it's a combination of both. Every successful artist, I believe they had some sort of partnership.
Don't you think also it's more cultural, because maybe people are not really into art?
It depends. Not necessarily everybody's into art, but there is a lot of, like, if you're in this,
if you want to sell your painting, you need people to buy it. So I'm saying just maybe people are not really taking art very seriously.
exactly, then you're targeting the wrong people. They're like the wrong recipients, because there is a whole big community of art, and the art market is huge, especially here. So if you're promoting your work to the wrong audience, you're gonna be having like negative results. It's not gonna be fruitful.
Yeah, this is very logical. A soda company marketing it to athletes won't make the job.
Exactly, yeah.
You need to choose your audience first, then you do the thing. That leads us to the last question. She's happy. She's happy. She's gonna. We threw questions at her. She's tired. Are there any projects or collaborations you're working on right now?
I am working on a series, a new concept that I'm developing, and I'm not gonna say time because I don't want to strict myself with announcements.
Strict yourself. We need time. 15 days?
No.
2 weeks? 3 weeks? A month?
No, not even a year. I have a full-time job.
6 months.
No, but I must. There will be results, of course, within 6 months, but it's not going to be the full project, because I have a goal, which is not something I'm not going to tell you, because then
in 3 years you'll do the podcast.
Oh, you remember that project I didn't finish?
It took me.
I'm still working on it.
Oh yeah, he will be the one reminding me. Like, what happened to that painting you said?
Yeah,
you're
in
gonna do?
3 years she'll be like, no. Then I took back the brush. Then I cried because I.
Yeah.
Thank you, Khawla. Thank you for accepting the invite. Do you have any last word?
No, thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure, really, and.
We had a great time together.
Yeah, we did.
Put the knife down, Khadija, please. Put the knife down.
No, you guys are really amazing.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Khawla, for your presence and for your eloquence.
Thank you.
We thank ByBit for the podcast area, for everything. It was Artiziri by Sastanaqqam. Thank you.
Bye.